Hey, my loves, thank you for joining me. Today, we are going to be talking about two goddesses. I did want to start covering other spirits. I do typically talk about La Santa Muerte a lot on this channel. I do want to start venturing more into necromancy and the occult as well, as these are things that I have been practicing for quite some time now. So, I feel like there are other spirits that can be touched on or worked with besides La Santa Muerte. I would still continue to post her content as that is a spirit that I work with heavily. However, there are other spirits that exist out there who I feel needs to have some light shine on them. So I'm going to be covering two spirits today, and these spirits are known to be sisters. You'll also notice that there is a contrast of light and dark when working with these spirits, so that's one thing to just kind of keep in mind. Also, I'm going to give a disclaimer before every single one of these videos because I do want to bring it to your attention or make you aware. When you're summoning or working with spirits, I'm even talking about La Santa Muerte, you have to understand that there is a contract that comes with these things. While these spirits might bring great fortune, success, they might bring a lot of positivity into your life, or they might bring an abundance of something into your life. It is not something that you can just terminate the contract once you get what you want from these spirits. These spirits that I'm bringing up, that I'm talking about, that I'm mentioning, including La Santa Muerte, are spirits that you need to understand that they are going to be around forever. I'm going to talk about symbolism and working with the spirits and who the spirits are, but it's just always important to be mindful that when you're working with these spirits that you're going to be building a lifelong relationship with them. Nobody wants to be used for anything and then just dropped when you get what you want, or somebody's just always coming to you whenever you want something. So I always say that keep in mind, be very respectful. These spirits are so much older and knowledgeable than us, so I think it's even crazy that there are people out there who have no problem with summoning spirits and then dropping them as soon as they get what they want. I just cannot fathom doing that, but there are people out there who do that. So I just try to give my warning out there, especially these are heavier spirits to work with, or heavier spirits within one's court. So it's just not something you want to pick up and just drop whenever it's not convenient for you anymore. But we're going to talk about two goddesses. One is goddess Inanna and her sister Ereshkigal. Inanna is the queen of the heavens, or the goddess of the heavens, and Ereshkigal is her counterpart. I don't want to say one is more of a lighter aspect than a darker aspect because they can be both. There's always going to be a flip side of the coin. But when you think about it, that's what it sounds like. So Ereshkigal is the goddess of Kur, or the goddess of the underworld. So I'm going to talk about the two spirits today. First, I'm going to cover goddess Inanna. I'm also going to put my socials in this description box just in case if you want to see me on other platforms, as I do have a podcast where I upload most of my videos to about me speaking about the stuff that's on my YouTube, and I also have TikTok and everything like that. However, we're going to talk about Inanna first, and this is from the Mesopotamian pantheon. These are both Sumerian goddesses, and they are very heavily related to the Anunnaki. If you are not familiar with the Anunnaki, I'm probably going to be covering them as well on this channel sometime in the future, along with other star seeds and other constellations and other dimensions and realities that exist. That's definitely going to be something that's touched on. But we're going to be talking about Inanna and Ereshkigal today. So Inanna is the goddess of love. She is also the goddess of war, fertility, wisdom, and justice. She is a goddess that is associated with the planet Venus. So she is a good goddess to work with if you have some kind of love rituals you would like to do. Also, very much, I would say her energy or the work is very similar to Aphrodite and Athena, as far as what you would summon her for, as Athena is not only a warrior, but she's very good for justice. She's very good for knowledge, wisdom. I feel like predominantly oracles work with Athena. She's a great spirit to work with if you are an oracle. However, be mindful that she is not them, so her energy will be very different. But she's very similar as far as what you can do to work with her. The comparison of spirits, they would say she's much more like Persephone in energy, which would be a little bit more heavier, like Lady Hecate or Hecate, much more of a heavier energy if you work with her. If she's coming to you, she will be a goddess that is winged. She also has a mountain crown, like a crown that's shaped like a mountain, almost like Wonder Woman's crown, if that makes any sense. And she's also associated with the animal, the lion. Now, she is also associated with beauty, death, terror, order, and chaos. So she's a very much a spirit that would like to bring a lot of balance and order in life. If you have some injustices in going on in your life, you have some chaos, I would probably say this is a very good spirit to work with. Or if she's been coming to you, now you know why she's coming to you, and you can work with her so you can get things sorted in your life, get some justice, and rebalance the scales. She is the daughter of the moon god, Nana. And like I mentioned, her sister is Ereshkigal, who is the queen of the underworld. She's also known to have bestowed gifts on humanity, which is why I said oracle work, divination. This is probably a very good spirit to work with, or if she's coming to you, to work with her and utilize her for those necessities as well. She is also associated with the spider because she's associated with fertility. Spiders are associated with fertility, and also creation and power. So if you have been seeing symbols, lions, mountains, winged creatures, what else? Yeah, I would say, I don't know if I said lions already, but that's going to be a clear sign that Inanna is coming to you. She's wanting to work with you. Those being Sumerian spirits, I did encounter someone who had a lot of like Mesopotamian or Sumerian spirits in their court, and they told me that they did not speak English. However, what I have learned to do when contacting these spirits or with working with certain spirits, especially if you're somebody, you might have stronger gifts in one area versus the other. I do feel like we all are capable of having all six senses, but some senses are going to be a little bit easier for you to maneuver than other, or some are going to be stronger than the other. I do have a episode on my podcast talking about the clear senses, but I'll probably also touch on that as well if people are interested. But you might have something that's a little bit stronger in one area than the other, so it might be a little bit of a barrier to communicate with spirits when you first start interacting with them or trying to understand who's coming to you. Sometimes I do like to tell them I need a clear-cut sign of who's coming to me, so that I know, and they usually will tell me. But sometimes when there's a language barrier and it's one of those unknown languages, I will learn a language if I need to communicate with the spirit. However, if it's something that is, Babylonia or Assyrian, anything that has to do with a region that you're just unsure of, they can talk to you telepathically. So they can put their thoughts or their words into your head, and that's typically how you can like decipher what it is. But I will also talk about the story and the downfall of Inanna, along with Ereshkigal, because they do have stories together. But I'm not going to just get too much into that, because now I want to talk about her sister, who is Ereshkigal. And she is one of the most feared goddesses in the Mesopotamian pantheon. So we're going to touch on her. So Ereshkigal, now, she is the goddess and the queen of the underworld. She is the sister to Inanna. And she's also the protector of the fountain of life. Now, because she rules Ker is the underworld, you're definitely going to be venturing more into the necromancy side of things besides just oracle work. And by being a necromancer, that means you work with the dead. You summon the dead, you control the dead, you talk to the dead, you communicate with the dead. A lot of people have like misconceptions of what necromancers are. There are definitely categories and levels to it, because you can be someone who's more of a benign necromancer, somebody who's able to cross spirits over, or communicate with spirits to assist them. If you do shadow Reiki, I am a shadow Reiki master, now working on my certificate for the Grandmaster of Shadow Reiki. You definitely have to be able to communicate with certain spirits in certain realms and be able to assist them with crossing over or elevating them. Now, that is a form of necromancy. It's not just going to the graveyard and, raising the dead to attack people or hurt people. There is benign work you can do in necromancy. But with this spirit, you will notice you will be venturing more into that kind of work, whether it's benign or whatever you decide to do in your practice. That's something that you will have to deal with by working with that spirit. It's just like Santa Muerte. I always talk about, she may bring the dead in when you start working with her, because she is the goddess of the underworld or the goddess of death. So you're going to expect, certain things are going to be more noticeable to you, or you'll have more access to beyond the veil. It's almost like the veil is lifted. But that's what comes with the territory when you decide to venture into this. So I'm hoping that everybody who's watching this video is more of an advanced practitioner, rather than wanting to just do this for fun, because once you get into this, there's no way getting out. Or if you get out, good luck. I don't, I can't speak too much on that. But she's capable of doing exorcisms as well, a goddess Ereshkigal. She casts evil spirits from beings. She is basically a medium of the living and the underworld, between the living and the dead. And her name literally translates to the queen of the great below. She is the wife of Nergal, who is the god of war and pestilence. And the way she's depicted is a winged woman. She has talons on her feet, however, and she's surrounded by owls, lions. She holds a rod and a ring and wears a black cape. Very much heavier energy than you're going to encounter with goddess Inanna. Ereshkigal is going to be a lot more heavier, just like Santa Muerte. If you've dealt with her in different robe colors, La Blanca is a very light robe color in my own experience. However, Negra and Roja tend to be very heavy in their energy. Even though people say they're all the same, they're all the same, everything about her is the same, the energy of those robe colors are a lot heavier than the other ones, just in my experience. I can't speak on anyone else's experience, but that's just how it is for me. And I'm very sensitive to energy, so there's times that I might feel something, somebody might not feel anything, but that's just, I'm very sensitive. But you can definitely tell Ereshkigal's energy is a whole lot different from Inanna. Just saying. Her abilities, she's also very good with healing energy as well. So if you are looking more into, like I said, shadow Reiki, doing some kind of Reiki where you're expelling negative energies and entities and forces, this is a good spirit to work with and utilize as well. Even if you do Reiki, it's important for you to utilize a spirit, because that energy, even though I've heard so many Reiki practitioners say before, oh, you just transmute the energy, there's always residual. Whenever you do an exorcism, there's always residual. No matter what technique I've used, and I've been doing this for quite some time now, a few years, there's always a residual energy. Working with the spirit helps alleviate that. It helps with making things less harsh when you're doing a cleansing or you're expelling negative energies, because once you first start doing it, you get very sick. These spirits will help with elevating you and clearing your energy so that you're not picking up on anybody's karmic cords or whatever it is that you're expelling from them. She is similar in energy to the Greek god Hades, but she's also associated with birth and virginity. So she also has a very pure energy to her as well. Like I mentioned, even though they say like she's similar to Hades, just like I mentioned before, Inanna's energy is very similar to Aphrodite. They also compared her to Persephone, but these are not the same spirits. So you're going to venerate them differently. You're going to work with them differently. Their energy is going to be different. They're going to look different. She's the daughter of the supreme god Anu, and she was created by the tears of Anu, salt water, and Namu, who is the goddess of the moon. Goddess of the ocean. So the story of Inanna and Ereshkigal is that there's several different stories. One is that Inanna tried to overthrow Ereshkigal's kingdom, and then the other one is that Inanna ventured down to Ker in order for her to pay her respects to her brother. Their brother was a dragon, and he passed away. However, when she tried to come down there, and this could be maybe she tried to overthrow her sister, and then all of a sudden she went, the funeral happened, she went to visit, and they kidnapped her, and they tried her. She was found guilty, and they unfortunately hung her. However, one of the gods did assist with having her resurrected. He was able to get her body to be brought back up to her territory, and they revived her. She was able to live again. Also, just to mention, the way that Ereshkigal became queen of Ker, or queen of the underworld, was that her brother kidnapped her down to the underworld, and after he kidnapped her, no man, no God was able to save her from the underworld because of how treacherous it was. So she just remained there, and ended up taking over, which is very interesting. But these two spirits, like I mentioned, once you are working with them, you're for lifers, you're locked in. And I also just don't recommend summoning anything if you just don't plan on building a relationship with it. We don't do that around here. That's just, maybe other practitioners might tell you to summon and do certain things. I'm very much like, if something's in your court, you should definitely work with that spirit in your court. These plants just love me. You should work with that spirit in your court. However, make sure you're building a relationship with them, so that they're able to give you the most out of your relationship. It's symbiotic. You have to remember that. Even with La Santa Muerte, that relationship is symbiotic. If you're just constantly coming to her and asking her for stuff, and you're not venerating her, you're not respecting her, you're only asking her for things, you're not giving her offerings, you're not praying to her, you're not doing anything for her, there's going to be a point where you're just not going to get as much of a reaction out of her than you would with any other spirit. I've heard people say some spirits are okay with you coming to them. I would say those are more so like lower vibrational energies, like energies you would work with in Kindoki, or energies you would work with in, like demons, only certain demons, because I know a lot of them do like to be worshipped as well. You want to build that relationship. You just don't want to summon something and then you're not giving it the attention and the respect that it deserves. It's all about respect. But with that being said, I am going to be touching on more spirits, as well as different entities, different energies, just shedding light on them, especially as an occultist. I think it's important to understand what other energies or what other spirits are out there to work with, especially that might be in your court. And it could be a spirit that's been around and you're like, I had no idea who that was, and I was able to shine some light on that. But with that being said, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming to my channel, for watching this video, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.